I wanted to make a more in-depth video going over the last couple years of what that has looked like and everything leading up to this point, just so you guys have some context going into the next few months here with this transplant process. But let's rewind to 2018 when I was originally diagnosed with leukemia. This was July, and so the months leading up to that, during the springtime, I started feeling pretty crappy, low energy. I noticed going up a flight of stairs was pretty tough. And I just thought, I'm out of shape. I'm getting lazy. I was 25 at the time, pretty healthy. And so I never thought, like, oh, it's something major like this. So I just kind of brushed it off. And then when I met my wife, um, she was like, "What is wrong with this guy? Like, you need to go get checked out. There's something weird." And so she pushed me to go in. I actually had started having more symptoms by the time we met in May, and I was having trouble eating, drinking water, even breathing was tough. Like food would get stuck in my throat, kind of in my chest almost. And so I went in. Doctors kind of brushed it off the first time, acted like there was nothing wrong. Waited a couple weeks. By this time, it was like July, and um, symptoms got way worse. So I went straight to the ER, and they did some scans, some blood work, and like, yeah, dude, you got leukemia, and it's not good. So at this point, um, my wife and I had only been dating for 6 weeks, and I was like, you don't have to stick around. Like, this is gonna be, not fun. You're gonna have to spend a lot of time in the hospital with me. And she stuck through it. She was like, no, I'm here for you. So we spent a lot of time in the hospital. Obviously, after that, I was just admitted straight to the hospital and got started with everything. I had no idea what I was getting into. And so let's see here, jumped right into treatment. There was really no decision there, just right to chemo. That was kind of what we needed to do. Drained some fluid from around my heart. That was what was pushing on my throat and causing like a lot of fatigue. There was like 2 liters of fluid around my heart, I believe. And let's see here. So did treatments for a bit, and then I want to say like a month after starting chemo, got into remission, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm good to go. I just go home, go back to normal life. And little did I know what the next few years would look like, but yeah, I ended up doing treatments for about 8 months, 9 months, and then it was like in the hospital, out of the hospital every few weeks, and then did like a maintenance protocol after that. And yeah, after about a year and a half of treatments, I got off chemo and just went back to normal life and thought, okay, we're good to go. We're treated, and everything seemed good. I recovered okay. I never really felt super great, but I was just happy to be out of the hospital at that point. And so I just went back to normal life, working on bikes, running a business, spending time with family and whatnot. And um, fast forward to about 3 years later, 2021, got married, and during the summertime, started feeling a little off again after the wedding. And leading into the fall, this was probably October, my wife noticed a lump on my chest here, and immediately I was like, yeah, I know what's going on. So we went in, and it was time for round two. And over the previous couple years, I had been doing a bunch of research and reading books and just trying to inform myself on cancer. It was something I was really interested in at that point. And so by 2021, felt like I had a decent grasp on things of like kind of where I stood and what I wanted to do for like treatment wise. And so immediately when I got diagnosed, I called around to a bunch of clinics around the world, and they all kind of told me the same thing. Like, you have, I guess I didn't bring this up earlier, but the type of leukemia I have is acute, so it's very fast growing and aggressive. It needs to be treated immediately and aggressively. And so that's kind of the message I got from all these other clinics of like, you need chemo to start. Our natural treatments are not going to be quite as effective as what you need. And that was a really tough thing to swallow. So I ended up coming to Seattle for chemo and did that for about a month, got into remission again, thankfully. And from then on, I'm like, all right, it was either bone marrow transplant or go try a natural route first. And I had my heart set on natural treatments, more of a natural approach. And I went to Mexico. And when I showed up there, I was in pretty rough shape, basically needing to be in a wheelchair, but I just refused. Got down there and I'm like, this is it. This is it. It's got to work for me. And immediately just started feeling better. Within a week, I went from just hobbling around to being able to jog up flights of stairs. It was pretty miraculous, honestly. And I just felt amazing. And then I spent 3 weeks there, and the majority of the treatments were like hyperbaric, hyperthermia, IV therapy, and a lot of detox stuff, nutritional. So it was a pretty complete package, I feel like. And did 3 weeks there, went home, felt incredible, went right back to work like nothing had ever happened. And I was like, this is it. This is what's going to work for me long term. That's what I was searching for, was more of a long-term solution. And we changed our entire lifestyle. We learned a lot while we were there. And really, I feel like made the appropriate changes to have success and remission long term. So after that, I was going back to Mexico every 6 months for follow-up treatments and just to be checked out and really keep a close eye on things. And all that was going great. Actually, one part of this story of the second diagnosis I failed to tell was after, or I think it was like 3 or 4 days before I was diagnosed the second time, my wife and I found out we're expecting. And it was just like a complete whirlwind of having your first child on the way and going through treatments. And that was a big reason why I decided to go to Mexico as well. My main goal was just to get to the birth healthy, and that's what I was able to do. So after I got home from Mexico, baby came, little girl, and everything was great from then on. Went through, this was 2022 at that point. Went through 2022, healthy, everything was great. Leading into 23, still going back to Mexico, doing scans, everything looked perfect. Blood work was incredible. And coming into the summer of 23, about 6-7 months ago now, I ended up coming down with this weird illness, and it paralyzed half my face. So Bell's palsy just came out of nowhere. So it really knocked my immune system down, and I just never recovered from there. And so I went throughout the summer just feeling crappy, never could get on top of things. So I decided to go back to Mexico, and things happened really fast. I got down there before they even started treating me. I just blew up. My stomach started filling up with fluid. It was hard to digest anything. So there was active disease going on in my stomach there. Blood counts got really bad. So they just said, this is too far gone. We can't treat it. We're going to send you back to the States. And I'm grateful they recognized that, sent me back. And I knew at that point it was like going to have to go do chemo again. And mind you, let's see, I think the week after I got back from Mexico, my wife and I found out we're expecting a little boy this time. So, deja vu, doing it all over again, going through treatments while my wife's pregnant, and pretty insane. So, started chemo treatments here in Seattle again, and initially they weren't working. Things had gotten really bad at this point. My stomach was filling up with fluid, about 6 liters at a time. At one point it got to 8 liters, and this was every 5 days they were draining it. And unfortunately, I Googled the symptoms, trying to resolve them on my own, and everything just said it's end stage, untreatable, like it's gonna just wreck all your organs and that's it. And that's kind of what I realized at the clinic too, or like at the hospital. They kind of felt the same thing, like it's gonna be hard to treat this. And they actually sent the hospice crew into my room, and I'm like, what is this all about? Like, I'm not giving up on this turning around. So the chemo treatments weren't working at first, and so I just went into the deep end, researching, trying to figure out how I can resolve this on my own, and came across a bunch of supplement stuff, nutritional things, ways I could calm down that disease in the stomach, and started on that. And literally every minute of the day was dedicated to resolving this issue. And within a few weeks it went away, and then we started a different chemo regimen that ended up working a lot better and got into remission. And then at that point it was pretty much thinking about transplant, and that's where we're at now. So I'll probably make a separate video on going into more of the transplant, because that's what's coming up next in the weeks ahead, months ahead, and what that looks like, kind of why I decided to go that route. And yeah, I don't think I missed anything over the last couple of years. A lot has gone on, so yeah, it's been wild. It's been really crazy. But now we're here in remission, ready to get started with transplant in the coming weeks. I think it'll start in about 10 days from here, from now. And yeah, it's going to be quite a wild ride, but I just, like the last couple of years, always find a way to pull through and get the strength from somewhere. So that's what this channel will be kind of dedicated to, is showing the process of this transplant. You know, it's not something I wanted to do. It just got to the point to where it was my only option. So yeah, that's where we're at, 5-6 years deep in this leukemia thing. And my goal, obviously, just to smash it out, never have to think about it again, and hopefully just go on with life. That's my goal. And I don't want to turn this channel into, you know, me being a cancer patient. I just want to show what it's like to get through this process and then just move on to normal, regular life again. So I appreciate you guys being along for the ride. We'll see you in the next video.